G'day guys, Ricky here from Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, and we thought we'd do a quick explanation video or educational video just in highlight of the gold-silver ratio. So it gets used a bit in reference to price predictions and other things like that, but we thought we'd just break it down to give you an actual understanding of what it is, because I'm sure most of you do, but I'm sure there's some out there who hear it and don't quite understand what it is. So we've got a bit of a visual representation here if you want to probably make it as easy as we can to explain. So what we've got here is the gold and silver ratio represented in the actual metals. So the gold and silver ratio is just the number of ounces of silver it'll take to buy you an ounce of gold. So this is roughly what it is. Look, I'm not going to say it's exactly what the gold silver ratio is, but it's somewhere in that 80 ounces moves every day. So let's say it's around 85 ounces to 1, and that's literally the physical representation. So it's 85 ounces to 1 ounce of gold. So now people often talk about the historical average, and look, I'm no expert and my opinions are only my opinions, but a lot of people talk about the historical average, like going back at into the early 1900s and things like that, that it was 15 to 1, and that's what we should hopefully see return to in an economic downturn. Other people, there's other opinions out there that that's a figure of the past, and in the modern period that the average is actually closer to about 40 or 50. So I mean, either way, it's at about 85 now, and there's some, there's plenty of information out there, and I'm only forming my opinion on that you can probably find the same information I've found out there, but there's some pretty solid opinions as to why it might head back down towards 30 or 40, in the event of a big credit crunch around the world. And all that really means in some regard is that, maybe your end goal is to have gold, but what it might mean is that if you were to buy silver today at 80 to 1, and then see that ratio drop to 40 to 1 later on, you could take the silver that you bought in place of your gold and swap it and get twice as much gold in the end. So there's some nuances around it, but typically speaking, most people work on like the gold and silver ratio retreating down as low as possible in a financial collapse, because gold moves first obviously, and then silver catches up, and that's the narrative anyway that is sort of being told over history so far, but doesn't mean that it's going to happen in the future. But I think that's what a lot of people bank on silver for, the potential accelerated growth as we come into more financial turmoil and unrest around the world, whereas gold sort of as our safe haven will continue to go up, but a lot of people talk now about silver potentially playing a big catch-up game. Again, none of this is financial advice. This is just my opinion that I've formed by, listening to a lot of things and reading a lot of things out there on the net already. So hopefully that sort of clarifies the gold and silver ratio a little bit. It's not too complicated, obviously, but sometimes the physical representation does help a little bit. I'm sure if you jump on the net there, you'll be able to find plenty of theories around the gold and silver ratio and where it might be headed and all those sorts of things, but I'll leave that to your own research, because we're not here to give out financial advice. But it's an interesting topic and what it's done in history. So if you do have time to go and browse some of that information, it's can add to your repertoire of understanding. So anyway, we'll leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you all next week with another educational video.